And greetings. Welcome back to a Monday evening. And we are hopefully off to a good week. And that's a sincere wish because right now, obviously, the amount of uncertainty that is in our lives and in our businesses is unbelievable. In my many years as a business performance coach, one of the things we try to do is to learn a little bit, and how to do it intelligently is to do a little forecasting. Because in those days, we oftentimes believed in what was called strategic planning. And we were trying to work a maybe 5-year plan or a 3 to 5 year plan. And we'd go through all of the stuff that we thought we had to look at, the SWOT analysis, and look at what we were all about and say, okay, here are our plans. And as one man said to me with great pride, and it probably was at that time not a very smart idea, and today it certainly wouldn't be a smart idea. And he said, Stan, whenever anything comes across my desk and it doesn't connect with our plan, I don't pay any attention to it. Well, you think about that. He was very prideful, and I'm going to use that term, that he had a strategic plan, and he was going to stick by it. He wasn't going to be distracted by anything else. Sounds good, but I wonder if perhaps some of you can figure out where that might go wrong. Well, we know you can't plan for a pandemic. You can't plan for a war that breaks out. You can't plan for the inflation that all of a sudden comes into our life in business. We can't plan for a lot of things because there are just so many things that are truly out of anybody's control, alone ours, and perhaps that great desire for certainty is going to escape us, even though that's something we crave and want. Certainty, security, confidence that truly all will be well, and we can count on it. Well, that's getting more and more difficult to do. So over the weekend, there were a number of conversations that I talked about with people who were trying to ask this question. Is there anything we can be certain about in the near future? Well, I'd like to talk about that because I think there is a couple things you can be sure of in the future. Let's see if there's any certainty in uncertainty. A good way to start our week. I'm Stan Houston, and these are Interesting Ideas. And we are back. Truly back. After a pleasant weekend, which even though I had to do some work, I really am trying to focus on a discipline. And here is the discipline I'm really trying to focus on, is that I will give myself 5 o'clock on Friday. I pulled the plug for sure. If not, maybe a little bit sooner in the nice summer days. And then I will take Saturday morning to clean up some errands, maybe a little bit of the work that I didn't quite get done, but the errands around house and home that need to be done. And then by noon on Saturday, I try and call it my super day of rest. And that doesn't mean I don't just sit around, but it's time for recreation and relaxation, reading, reflection, perhaps just being quiet and having a little bit of contemplation, and then making sure that on the Sunday morn that I discover a place where I can worship and find out what life is all about once again, at least once a week. We do that. And then toward the end of Sunday, I try and say, okay, then I start to think, maybe around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I have what I call the Sunday night meeting. And that's where I begin to think about how I'm going to meet early. And I'm always up very early on Monday morning and ready to go. So I do that. And I pulled that off well last weekend. And I'm proud of myself whenever I do that. And even though my children weren't here, we were able to celebrate a little bit of one of the proudest things I've ever done. Probably the best things I've ever done was I married a wonderful woman, and we have two wonderful children who are not children anymore, and we had a way to connect with them. And so that was good. But I do know, because one of my colleagues shared it with me, because he had a mastermind group this past week, and it came up because it was planned. And as a result of that kind of flew into a little bit of the weekend. But he said it was very fascinating because what happened is people were really just uncertain. And they were trying to find, as they went around and talked to each other, is there anything they could be certain of that they should try and count on going forward? And that was a good exercise. And my friend shared some of the results of that. And then I thought about that. And we did a little bit of an agreement, though I don't think it was a formal agreement. But it turned out we had a little bit of a meeting of the minds. And here's what I think you can be certain of in uncertainty. And I'm going to call it the MSII. MSII. And maybe it's a MSII. Okay, let me see if I can hopefully tell the story of it. For years, and remember just last week I wrote about the fact that a number of years ago, maybe 40 years ago, I made a decision to live what I would call the experimental life. I quit a career that I could have coasted on as a very good teacher in a public school in Minnesota. I could have coasted on that for many years, and I had a nice retirement. But I decided to live experimentally, and I've done that for over 40-some years now. Never had a secure job, never had something that I could totally count on. I've very much lived the entrepreneurial life. And it's been a series of experiments. And experiments sometimes don't work out. In fact, sometimes they go terribly wrong. And so I've had both the agony and the ecstasy, the mastery and the mystery of trying to live an experimental life. And here are some things that I know right now are for certain. So listen to it. You're going to have to find that what I said many years ago was probably true. And here it is. God wants you to be an entrepreneur, or at least he wants you to think like one. God wants you to be an entrepreneur, or at least he wants you to think like one. Now, just let that sit on your head for a while and see if it makes sense to you. But let me talk to the moment. MSII, or maybe MSIII. Here we go. You're going to have to find and discover or have multiple streams of income. Obviously, there are people who are finding out right now that that stream of income that they had in their retirement plan, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And that stream of income, that retirement income, they did their planning, and now it seems that, well, it might not be enough. It might not be adequate. It was a stream of income we were counting on, and maybe we can't do that anymore. Well, that's the problem. I think all of us are going to have to say, how can I live my life and find multiple streams of income? Every day, I'm in a situation where I know that somebody is suffering from MSI gone wrong. For instance, the other day, I saw a gentleman who was very kind and very nice, and we were at the Costco store, and he was doing his best to make it, and he was very, very good. But I could just tell. He was probably in his late 40s and early 50s, and here he was running the counter at Costco. Very honorable work. Of course, all good service work is honorable. But that's not what he had in mind in life. I know that. And there are thousands and millions of people who are not doing what they wanted to do, but because they're good folks, they do what they have to do. And that's why all of us need to know that at times in our life, we need to see, as we get older, where are the streams of income that we can count on, or at least try to count on, or that we can create all the time. We're always looking for multiple streams of income. Now, there are a few of you, you just got plenty of money. God bless you. He has already blessed you, and I continue to hope that He blesses you. But be careful. Having enough money, or more than enough money, is something that still may not get you the right kind of income that you want, and it might not be there forever as you wish, for as long as you wish. Of course, we know that's true. Now, one of the ways you have to have a multiple stream of income is to try and have multiple streams or multiple sources of influence. In effect, we have to live our lives in ways that we have relationships and we have skills, and there are things that we always know that we could begin to do that would help us find ways to influence other people, have influence out there that could bring to us the good income or the better income that we want. So maybe it's multiple streams of income and multiple streams of influence. And then maybe it's 3 multiple streams of what would be the third eye of how you can be more interesting to others, how you could be more interested in others. And you know what? If you're interested in others, they find that interesting. Everybody is wearing a sign which says, "Please tell me I'm important." And when they have people in their lives who do that, you know what happens? They tend to be a source of influence, and that could be a source of income for us all. So I'm going to ask you, sit down now and do a MSI2, MSI3 index. Maybe that's a fourth eye. Here we go. Where can I find multiple streams of income? I remember one of my friends, he was working for a large airline company, and he was very much involved in the maintenance aspect. And there was a strike coming, and then the company suggested that they might just outsource all of their maintenance to maintenance companies, and those could be maintenance companies anywhere. And I asked my friend, "Are you afraid of this?" And he said, "Well, I sure don't want it to happen." But he said, "Stan, you know, there's a lot of things I can do. I can fix cars. I can repair things. I'm just interested in so many things. I know that if it came down to it and I lost my major source of income, I could put it together. I could piece it together. I know how to do a lot of things. And I would just kind of gear those things up. And I have many ways that I can increase my income, or I can perhaps replace some income. Multiple sources of income. Multiple ways so that you're influencing people. They know what you can do. They appreciate what you do. You have influence and relationships that can get you some of the things and the opportunities that you want. And now, what are the multiple sources of interest that you can show to others? Are you in a situation where you are able to just show that you are interested in other people? In the community, in your place of worship, in the schools your children attend? Where are you in terms of having multiple sources of interest in other people? You are interesting because you're interested, and they appreciate being a source of interest for you. So that's what I'm certain of. I'm certain that as I go forward, and I'm certain for you, that in these inflationary, leaderless times, independently and individually, we're all going to have multiple sources of income, influence, and interest in others. Well, just let that sit on your head as you go through the week. It'll give you something to do. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas. I'll close it up. I'll be right back. Here we go. I got to run. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been helpful. Someone said to me, Stan, this business performance coaching that you've done, can you tell us more about that sometime? Well, I'll try and do that. It's something that I did professionally for a long time. It's not my major project right now. My major project is how to help people be on the radio like this so that they can have greater sources of income and influence. But I can perhaps describe to you how you could become a business performance coach to others. And that's always a major source of how I could have income if I felt that was what I was called by God, or called certainly by circumstances to do. So reach out to me. I think I can be helpful to you in that, if that's something you and your business need. Reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com, and let's work on it. Multiple streams of income, influence, and interest in others. Best and blessings to you, because we do always close with a benediction, because people remember that. Take care. Till next time. Bye for now.